Hello, everybody. Yeah, boss is back with another round. Well, this is both. I'll be talking about a little bit about last night's results and upcoming weekend as well. So yeah. Well, this last round was not really easy to predict at all. So only one of my predictions I think went home, which was Katie Taylor winning on points. Uh, But even that one proved to be a little, questionable. Because many say, I didn't see those fights, but many say that Amanda Serrano should have won. And yeah, there's something really wrong now with going on because I'm really sick of that. Katie Taylor is definitely a protected fighter because she has already once been actually beaten, and that was against Delphine. Was it? Yeah, the Delphine Persoon. First time. Yeah, that's right. Actually beat her. But yeah, I mean, she is with Eddie Hearn, so he's really big at the moment. And sadly, the judging just keeps on being ridiculous at times, and in America and certain other places too, but especially in America. So in order to beat a really, because Taylor was the defending champion, all that, to beat the defending champion who has a big promoter behind her, you really gotta win by a knockout. So that was that fight. Then you had Jesse Vargas versus Liam Smith. And yeah, surprisingly, I guess Liam Smith even managed to stop Jesse Vargas in the 10th round because that was the first stoppage for Vargas. But I said, it's a little bit because of his ring rust that may happen. I really like Liam Smith as a fighter because he really comes out and fires up on all cylinders, really gives it all. Always trying to score a knockout. I'm glad this is good for his career now, and at this stage, at the age of 33, he needs another you know, big victory. He needs more success before he eventually retires. He, Everybody likes to go out, on a good note, anyway. And yeah, and then we had the big fight, which was between Oscar Valdez and Shakur Stevenson, and Shakur won the fight by unanimous decision. He even dropped Valdez in the sixth round. So that fight I will have to watch. But yeah, I mean that one was also very tough to call, because Shakur is the young lion, the new upcoming star, but he still hasn't been really tested, until now. And he did beat Jamel Herring, but Herring is hardly on the same level as Valdez. So and this was his great crowning performance. Valdez, on his own side, I think kind of struggled in his last fight, and he hasn't. There were some rumors and controversies around him, and connected to some sort of PDUs, and so that was anyway. This was a great victory for Shakur Stevenson. He is now the WBC and the WBO super featherweight champion, and now he can, go on to challenge maybe even Tank Davis, or maybe move up. I don't know if he's ready to move up, but anyway, there are several good fights to be made at 132. And now we go to next weekend, which is May 7th, or the 7th of May, as I say. So we got several exciting fights, but the one that most are really looking forward to is Dimitri Bivol versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. Yeah, of course, this is a fight for Bivol's WBA's super light heavyweight title. And Bivol, as you know, is a very good, talented, technical boxer. He's undefeated at 19 and 0. Early on he did show, he had power, but he hasn't really scored a knockout since 2018. So he won his last six fights on points. But he really faced some tough, opponents as well, like Joe Smith Jr., Jean Pascal, Umar Salam, Isaac Chilamba. So, yeah. So he's a taller man here at 6 feet and has got a 72-inch reach. He's 31, while Canelo is, I believe, yeah, he's still 31 too. He's 5'8", 70-inch reach. Yeah, but he's very good at negating the height disadvantage or the advantage of his opponents. Yeah, I unfortunately I think there's a small chance for Bivol to win unless this new weight happens to not really suit Canelo because even though he has already fought Kovalev, before that at 175, and but he still didn't really look that good in that fight until he pulled off the knockout, of course. So far, this was his only fight at above 168. So we don't know really how he will react, but I guess it will not be such a big difference because between 168 and 175 only a couple pounds, right? Um, yeah, as I said, unfortunately, I don't think Bivol can win this fight because he will have to knock out probably Canelo, and I don't think he's capable of that because he, as I said, hasn't scored a knockout in his last six fights, and some of them were against guys that were, uh, that like people like for instance Better Beer would have knocked out, So even though I think we will can outbox Alvarez, but that will not necessarily be enough. We know how messed up judging is, in America, in Vegas especially, with Canelo. We know how it goes. You gotta knock him out, or at least give him a beating and score a few knockdowns, if not to win. So I think Canelo will win, but this will be a really close fight. I think so. Yeah, most likely. Uh, Sometimes it happens that these guys are overcome when they have to fight someone with Canelo's stature, to put it away. Yeah, but I don't think Bivol should be intimidated. I don't think he will be. So my prediction is that Canelo wins by close, maybe even split decision or something. Yeah. And then we have Philip Hergovich, Croatian heavyweight hope. He's fighting Zhilei Zhang from China. So both guys are equally tall, 6'6". But I believe Hergovich is a little bit heavier and a little bit strong. Or actually, no, Zhang is the heavier guy. So Hergovich is in a better shape actually. But I think I mean, both guys are undefeated. Hergovich is 14 and 0 with 12 knockouts, and Zhang is 23 and 0 and 1 with 18 knockouts. But Zhang is 38, so he's going towards his end. So on his last leg, and he hasn't really defeated anybody who was, really. I mean, his best win was against Andrei Rudenko on points. who is no longer at his best anyway, who wasn't when they fought. And Andrei Rudenko is a pretty average fighter, anyway. Yeah, well, Hrgovic has a few wins like Eric Molina, Kevin Kingpin Johnson, Amir Manso, even though they were all also past their prime. But, he's just shown that he does not only possess the size and punching power, but he can, he does have the fundamentals as well. He can move and box when it's needed. And, he was frankly, one might say he was robbed against Tony Yoka at the Olympics. So I hope after this fight he will get to fight Yoka. So my prediction is that Hrgovic will win like maybe sixth round knockout, something, sixth or seventh, yeah. All right. And then you have Tony Yoka also fighting against Martin Bakole. And that's the fight that should have happened earlier this year, I believe in February or something. But I'm really looking forward to this fight because in his last fight against Peter Milas, he didn't look very good, Yoka, until he pulled off that knockout. He was really outboxed for 6 rounds. And I think he's not that good as he may look. He's mostly about size and power. He is a really hard puncher, heavy puncher. But other than that, he's rather easy to hit. And if you are a really good technician, you can outbox him if you stay out of his, big right hand or left hand, whatever. You can easily win. Also, my chair. So yeah, I think what Martin Bakula, if you look at his record, he's got one loss, which was when he was cut against Michael Hunter, and he's stopped like Marius Schwach, Kevin Johnson. He beat Sergey Kuzmin points. So he's got pretty decent record, and he's 6'6", so he's not only an inch shorter than Yoka. So yeah. I don't know. There's something about me that doesn't like Tony Yoka. I don't like guys who work off their physical, attributes, who use their physical advantage so much as he does. And I hope he will lose to be to be completely honest and unprofessional. But will he? I don't think so. Not maybe not against. And this fight is in his hometown, Paris, And so even though Bakule will probably put up a good fight, I think eventually he will either get stopped later or at some point or lose by decision. There may be a slight chance that Bakule can pull off an upset, but it's not so big. I mean, it's like a medium chance to put it away. Yeah. So, but most likely Yoka will again come off as the victor in this fight. And even though he had to go the distance against Christian Hammer, a tough guy, so I can see there will be a lot of wrestling and all that stuff because they are both really big guys. Yeah. And then it's a little hard to score a knockout, so I don't know. But anyway, Yoka most likely wins some. Yeah. And then finally, Jermel Charlo versus Brian Carlos Castano. This fight, this is a rematch, of course. Yeah, and their first fight, many people thought, me included, that Castano really should have won that fight because he was slightly better. He's a really tough guy and really kind of fast and good boxer. If he only had a little more power, because he doesn't really have that big big punch. He's more like a volume puncher than power puncher. If he had that, then I'm sure he could have even probably stopped Jermel Charlo. But he does not. While Jermel, who does have that big punch, you might say he wasn't able to, of course, to really hurt Castano, much less stop him. But I don't know, this time around, yeah, I mean, this should be also, of course, another really hard fight. But nobody wants to see another draw, so the judges will likely give the fight if it's a really close fight. With it, I think Charlo will get the decision, even though he may not even deserve it. But if it's like a draw, then it will be a Charlo victory, definitely. But if like Castano again proves to be just a little better, then yeah, maybe he will get it this time, even by split decision or something. Uh, what I think about Jermel Charlo, he's a really good offensive fighter. But I think, and he's got good boxing skills. But I think sometimes he's he can expose himself and be caught with a clean big punch, and that's why I guess he lost to Tony Harrison also. Sometime, even though that was really a disputed loss, so he's not really his defense may have some you know chinks, but both guys are really fast, really warriors who can take a lot of punishment and dish it out. So there isn't anything more to say about it. As I said, I think the most likely outcome is that Charles wins this time on points. I don't think he can stop Castano. He's just too tough. So yeah, that would be it. So without further ado, that was the boxing prediction round for this time. I hope you enjoy the fights and see you until the next time.